Muy buenas a todos y bienvenidos a Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, episodio número 21. Vamos a hacer un día de investigación bien chulo. A ver qué conseguimos descubrir sobre información del caso. So, Mr. Wright, what's going on with the case anyway? I'm a little confused. Yo tampoco sé qué está pasando, de verdad, Maya. Maya no, esta es Emma. Emma Stone. No, esta era otra, creo. Let's see what is going on. The victim, Detective Bruce Goodman, was stabbed to death after 5 p.m. on the 21st. He died in the prosecutor's parking lot and the police department's evidence room. What's this and the evidence room part? The prosecutor's office and the police department are 30 minutes apart by car. Well, that's what we're going to find out, or try at least. Alright, let's do it. Glad she's in good spirits, but I'm not sure she's going to be much help with this. Don't be so sure, Mr. Wright. Huh? Look, we're in this together, right? I'll prove that these thick-rimmed glasses of mine aren't just for show. Estas gafas son más raras. Vamos. Let's go, science awaits us. Hostia, el parking lot ese. You know, I really don't think we should worry about the police department murder. There wasn't even a body found there. Who cares? Yeah, it was only our victim who was killed in their evidence room. No biggie. Besides, my sister would never do such a thing. I know it. That oil drum, was it empty? The oil drum, kicked over by the chief prosecutor, was brimming with water. My sister erasing evidence at the crime scene? Never! Even though she says they don't get along, Emma really likes her sister. That's not it at all. It's just, we're both professionals at what we do, and I trust her. Tienes 16 años, niña. Big word for a high school student. Relaja la raja. Well, whether there was blood on the floor or not, the water in that oil drum washed it all away. Ignore the strength of my science at your own peril, Mr. Wright. Huh? What's that cream for? This solution calls for one thing, and that's called luminol testing fluid. Luminol? ¿Cómo? Blood is sticky stuff, you know. You can just wash it away with a little water. Even if you can't see it, it's still there. Hace luminol encima de... Calla, sí, no lo hagas porque este es un canal para que también menores tienen que poder ver estos vídeos. Si hacemos bromas de este nivel con otras sustancias que también son viscosas, va a salir mal. Vamos a acabar mal. Concentración. Venga, nada de bromas del luminol, ¿vale? But wouldn't the police have already done those tests? Never trust anyone's eyes but your own, Mr. Wright. Just give it a try. Me? Why do I have to do it? I'm a minor. I can't even drink yet. We're testing blood stains with this stuff, not drinking it. Here, look. I'll lend you these glasses. Huh? You had an extra pair of those things? Hostia! To test for a blood reaction, just spray the luminol on it. Like this, see? Hostia! Press enter to spray it on. Okay, let's find some blood stains. Venga. Vamos ahí. ¡Pa! ¡Dios! Examinar. Pedazo zoom, eh? I can see her eyes shining behind those glasses. So this is a blood stain. It's Emma, you're shaking. This is my first time seeing real blood. Scientific investigation in action. Okay, we'll definitely know that this is a blood stain. But doesn't something strike you as odd, scientifically speaking, of course? What's it about this, scientifically? The location? Why the bloodstain location, of course, it's elementary. Huh? Why is that elementary? I mean, I would think that if there was a fight, you'd expect some bloodstains here. I suppose you might think that. Come on, Mr. Wright, we're all counting on you. Maybe it's the amount of blood that's odd? I definitely think so. Pero si fuera un stab y ya está, no es un pa. No, no es un que te corto, que te meto aquí. No, es un crack. ¿Vale? No sé. I mean, Look at all the blood on the sole of the victim's shoe. It is pretty strange. If they fought there, they fought here, they'd have to have been more blood than this. Hey, Mr. Wright. I'm gonna mark up the floral plants when we find a bloodstain, okay? Okay. See, I'm pretty handy to have around. Yeah, and that's pretty handy too. I saved up my allowance to buy that. Vale. Find bloodstain. Spray to use, okay? We can be sure that the police will reveal all their evidence in court. Sometimes they fail to mention evidence that doesn't fit with their view of the case. Then let's drag that hidden evidence out into the light of day. Yeah, it feels like we're really investigating crime now, doesn't it? Yeah, they should give this a spray of anything suspicious. Huh? La chica de la comida, madre mía. I wonder how that fluid of yours would react to a nice deli box. Mrs. Starr! You only trust your eyes. Not bad, you two. Toma! This day old deli box is on the house. Sorry, it's just it's just that kind of late. It doesn't really get my mouth watering. Vamos a hablar. Today's time. You certainly put me in a tight spot today. My apologies, Mrs. Starr, but no, it's okay. It was my fault. Oh, we know. I witnessed everything from that security room right there, but I was afraid that wouldn't sound convincing enough, you see. I was wrong to think that. I'm sorry. Sorry, you lied on the witness stand. That's unforgivable. Unforgivable. Little girl, don't forget what's important here. Even if the place I witnessed the event from was different, I still saw what I saw. I saw Chief Prosecutor Sky stab a man in cold blood, and that testimony still stands. Oh. I swear it on my honor as a detective. She is Staff Goodman. I know this photograph has something important to tell us, but what? So, you were a detective, weren't you, Mrs. Starr? Yes, it was a long time ago. Well, 2 years ago. No matter how hardened a criminal when they faced me. They coughed it up. Coughed it up? They confessed. They babbled like babies, you know. Toma! I may seem like a demon sometimes, but I can be an angel too. I wouldn't doubt it. Every day I drag the dirt out of the mouths of suspect after suspect, and before long they called me the cough of queen. Oh, and here I thought someone had gotten food poisoning from your lunches. And you were let go, fired? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator, and if these prim and proper prosecutors hadn't let me go, I'd still be one today. It's all because of that case, the SL9 incident. SL9? Wait, she doesn't mean... Presento. Vamos a hacer así. What do you think about this? The SL9 incident is written on that knife. And that note. Goodman. Goodman was the head detective of that case, you know? Really? That knife was evidence from that case, the murder weapon. It was due for transferal the very day that Goodman was killed. As I suspected, SL9 isn't over. Not yet! Otro recaso de madre mía. Do you think you could tell us more about the SL9 incident? Boom. Toc SL9. ¿Por qué no me habla más de SL9? Ahora, me cago en mi madre que me parió. Madre mía, hay cosas que hacer, Hay muchas cosas que hacer. Pero bueno. Vale, hay un huevo de cosas para hoy. Muchas. Esto es el principio. Ya llevamos... ¿Cuánto es el episodio? 22 minutos, madre mía. Esto se va a hacer largo, That incident really opened up my eyes to the truth. We're nothing to them. Disposable. Disposable? To who? 2 years ago. It was the biggest case I'd ever handled. The police and the prosecutors were desperate for decisive evidence, so didn't solve it. On the contrary, it was solved quite cleanly. The criminal was caught and executed. Executed? Yes, the criminal got what was coming to him. It doesn't get any cleaner than that. The only problem was they never find decisive evidence, not a shred. What? But the criminal was executed, right? On the basis of evidence, of a sort, made up evidence. Oh, what? You mean they executed someone with fabricated evidence? The best part came several months after that, after the trial. Every detective involved with the case was dealt with. Some were demoted to patrolmen, others found themselves out of a job. And you were one of those. Myself and one other person you know well. Wait, could it be? Exactly, Detective Jake Marshall. Oops, I mean Police Department Security Detail Officer Jake Marshall. ¿Qué pasa con Marshall? As a professional detective, we investigated that case from every angle. Jake was particularly determined, and then it was over, and he was demoted. However, he hasn't forgotten, and neither have I. You haven't forgotten SL9? There was another side to that case, a hidden side. That's what we're after now. And no one up in their fancy offices can stop us. Wait, those lunches you sell? There's only one reason I come to sell lunches in this accused office. I come here to meet old friends, boyfriends that can help me investigate. Miss Sarah's old boyfriends. How many does she have anyway? There's when all the detectives from the SL9 have disappeared, we find new evidence. There has to be a connection. So, rookie. Oh, what? Seems like you're serious about investigating this case. Yes. Then you should take this. ¿Cómo? Salisbury stick lunch? I know a certain guy who might help you if you tempt him with this treat. Officer Marshall, is he your, are you going out? Why do you want to know? I was just wondering what happened to him. A long time ago, when he was helping my sister to the case, he was so nice. He got along so well with my sister, it made me jealous. And he was nice to me too, back then. This would be when Officer Marshall was a detective. But now he's so cold. Jake and I are merely cooperating on this investigation. We're putting the past to rest, as it were. Nothing more than that. I see, thank you. Había que ir a por él, tú. This place is charged with frantic energy. So, please? One stick lunch, please. Oh, it's you. Detective Gumshoe. I have no time for chit-chat, pal. I'm a busy man. What I really need is a steak lunch from Lunchlun. Oh, you mean one of these? Actually, it's not for sale. I think I just heard the sound of his heart breaking. Now's no time for despair. We've caught our criminal, now we just need evidence. The criminal, you mean? You heard about the stabbing in the police department evidence room, right, pal? Coño. Si yo lo dije. It's the biggest scandal to hit the station in ages. Everything stops topsy-turvy. But Detective Gumshoe, who was it? Listen, pal, all I know is I need me a steak lunch, pronto. Standing around here talking is going to fill my belly. Wait, don't leave. If you want to know more, head on down to the detention center, pal. Questioning should be over, so I figure he's down there having a good cry. Later. He ran off to the evidence room. Well, the investigation is off to a running start. Técnicamente tenemos que ir ahora a la investigation room. Still, I do feel better about things a little. I mean, they caught the person who stabbed Detective Goodman, didn't they? Oh, yes, I guess they did. Best not to go too far down this road right now. Things will just get confusing. When was that? Sir, that's what I'm saying. Me, a perpetrator? I'd say I was the perpetrator again, sir. That's what I'd saw. ¿Cómo? Now, hi, greetings. I don't know who you are. Pues es Rock Lee, tío. But is Mr. Edge anywhere on the premises? Officer Meekings. So you're a guard here at the detention center? No, sir, I'm not, sir. I'm a little lost patrolman, like a little lost lamb, sir. Oh, I get it. You're here to deliver a report. No, sir, how should I say this? Wait, he isn't, is he? You, Officer Meekings, you didn't, did you? Perpetrator Officer Meekings reporting, sir. What? What? No, this is an unexpected turn, to be honest. Háblame. Sir, I'm a patrolman with General Affairs, sir. Sir? No, I can hear you fine, Officer Meekings. I had some business that day, sir, and so I went to the evidence room, sir. The guard station in front of the room was empty, sir. So normally there's a guard at the evidence room. That's right, sir, because evidence is kept in the evidence room, sir. Now the security officer was none other than Officer Marshall. Marshall? Then, sir, I happened to glance at the security room monitor. That's when I saw him, sir, a suspicious person in the evidence room. Suspicious person! ¿Pero qué? What the fuck? So what happened then? After that, sir, everything went white. I saw red, I blacked out. And when I came to, I was here in the detention center. How long were you out? Days? Might I ask, what happened to your hand? Sir, there was no one to bandage me, sir. So I did what I could to wrap it up, sir. A bandage on his hand. Just like Mrs. Sky. Yet another similarity between this case and the one at the prosecutor's office. First things first, tell us how you hurt your hand. But your hand, did that happen during the course of the crime? Well, you see, sir. Don't you think you should just confess? But sir, but there was nothing I could do. Nothing you could do? Sir, did I do, sir, when it happened? When the detective pointed that knife at me, I just hollered. And the next thing I knew, I was unconscious. The next thing you knew, you were, huh? Then when I opened my eyes, I was alone in the evidence room, sir, all alone. Alone because Detective Goodman had disappeared. What? Then when I looked down, I was gushing blood from my hands, sir. And the shock, the sorrow, sir. Can you imagine how I felt? The victim's body disappeared. Se la han sacado de sitio. Right, but you are the perpetrator, correct? You get Detective Bruce Goodman in the evidence room, right? Sir, please don't look at me with those sad puppy dog eyes, sir. You have to label me as perpetrator or victim, sir. Then label me victim. I would, but you happen to be in detention and alive and well at that. Oh yes, that's true, sir. I suppose you could say that. Did you know the victim, Detective Goodman? Well, sir, if I had to label him as a stranger or a total stranger, then I'd say he leans heavily on the total stranger side. So you didn't know him? Sir, I work in a tiny department devoid of light or other creatures' comforts. I don't know any detectives. So if he was a total stranger, why did you stab him? Sir, I had no intention of killing him, sir, none. Nor do I have any recollection of killing him. At least someone around here is more confused than I am. Amigo. Mira esto. Wow, we got a reaction. There's clearly blood around the spines here. This room's pretty messy. Someone must have tripped over or something and planted their head right in these spines. I think that might be more painful than being murdered. Aquí una cosa que tenemos que hacer es presentar la ID de este pavo. Do you think you could look at this? Hey, that's it, sir. That's it. That's what? My head was blank until this very moment. But sir, now I remember, sir. You mean you remember what happened? Correct. That car was the cause of it all. ¿Cómo? Exactly, sir, that's exactly it. Nothing could be more exact, sir, nothing. I better pry into this a little bit deeper. Vamos a hablar, Tete. Can you tell me what it is that you do remember? Well, sir, you might say I'm a lost little patrolman. A lost little lamb, if you will. I didn't know Mr. Detective who was in the evidence room, and that's why you thought he looked suspicious. Yes. Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to show me his ID card. Well, that sounds pretty much by the book so far. That's right. Sir, that's what I've been trying to tell you. So you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do? That's the thing. Suddenly he pointed a knife at me. What? Sir, I assure you I was as flustered as you are right now, so I whooped and leaped at him. Do unto the others before they do unto you. My own father's words, sir. What happened then? Well, my eyes, sir, everything went white. When I woke up, I was here. So, Officer Meekins, why was it that they arrested you? What do you mean, Emma? Let's look at what we know. Now, Officer Meekins didn't know Detective Goodman, and the victim, whom he met at the scene of the crime, didn't show his ID card. In other words, we have no way of knowing if the victim was really the victim. And if this body just disappeared from the evidence room, we didn't even know if anyone actually died. That's it, sir. That's what I wanted to say. That is, I did say something along those lines. Huh? But you still ended up here. They told me that it had to be him, sir, on that day at that time. That Goodman was definitely in the evidence room. That's what they said. But you don't remember the events clearly. No, but the videotape is quite clear. Huh? Videotape? From the security camera. The crime, my crime, the crime I saw to stamp out. It's there, it's me, it's on tape. Vale. And you waited until now to tell us this? I'm sorry, really sorry, sir. I'll hand over my badge, I don't deserve it. No, thanks, I have my own. Well, I guess we better go check out the crime scene. Vale. Así que tenemos que irnos al car... no sé qué. Si pasamos por aquí... Hey, Mr. Wright, look who's standing at the chief detective's desk. It's police chief Gunn. Madre mía, el jefe. Hombre! And you're sure this is all, huh? You know what it means if there is anything missing. Sir, I'm sure it's most likely totally perfect. We checked all of his drawers, lockers, garbage cans, bags, coat pockets, hats, under his seat cushion, behind his computer monitor, inside his personal coffee machine. I see. Well, if anything does turn up, you call me right away. Deal? Yes, sir. We'll scour the place again, sir. The chief of the detective looks a little flustered. Ah, right, my boy. How you been? Swim much? Oh, Chief Kent, reporting for duty, sir. Why are you saluting him, Mr. Wright? Ay. Vale, tenemos que hablar un poquito. Is that yours going to be okay? Oh, Worthy. Oh, you know, they're doing a little inquiry committee with him. And like an inquisition. An inquisition. Yeah, well, they've had no end of trouble with the boy since last year. You mean the incident on Court Lake? It doesn't look good having a top prosecutor sit in the defendant's seat, does it? And you got someone else found guilty in that case, right, Wrighto? Von Karma. See? This is a legend he was, undefeated in his 40-year career. But in court you fixed it, so he was caught for forging evidence. Oh, wait, I didn't do anything wrong. He did forge evidence. In any case, the prosecutor's office is in a bit of turmoil, you might say. Why, they just do about anything to restore their reputation. Now, depending on what that inquiry committee decides, it could be bad for Worthy. What? A ver, ¿qué está pasando? It's downright odd, I tell you. Detective getting killed on their turf too, I mean. They're being the prosecutors, I assume. They're being the prosecutors, I assume. Es que si no lo leo todo, a veces no pronuncio nada bien. Scientifically speaking, it's impossible. Yes, but that's what the evidence is saying. Goodman was stabbed in 2 locations at the same time. That's what it says. What evidence is this? Now, Righto, I can't give away all our secrets just like that. And this in particular, well, it's a little sensitive, and I can't talk about it. I wasn't expecting much anyway. You know, one of the things I hate most of all is hiding stuff. Secrets, can't stand them. But you know, it's a full-time job just keeping the chief of detectives trap shut. Oh, he was the one you were picking on earlier. Huh? You saw that? Whoops. I wonder what it was that he wanted the chief of detectives to do. Let's see if we can kind of discreetly ask him. ¿Qué tengo que pedirle? Vale, ahora tenemos que examinar. That must be one of the detectives. He's rumbling something to himself. I know, the killer used a cassette tape. What a crafty trick. That gunshot was a fake. That's good. No one will expect a cassette tape in this day and age. You're not writing a report. He's writing a novel. Oh, sorry you had to see that. What exactly did the chief of police want to do with you? Well, see over there? That's Goodman's desk. He wanted me to check it for anything that might be a clue. They took away every last piece of garbage in the trash can. So nothing belonging to Detective Goodman is still here. Of course not. Well, except for this. What? You kept something? Sure, why not? It's not important. He didn't even finish writing it. It's a lost item report, but it's only half complete. Lost item? Did Detective Goodman lose something? The date on it is February 21st. Me cago en la madre que me parió. Pero si está... Es lo de la nota. Should really get back to investigating the police department crime scene. Madre mía. Permission to enter. Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you a favor. Well, I never thought that they would come when Wright to ask me for help. I was wondering if we could investigate the evidence room. Now, Righto. Actually, I'm sorry. I don't need to investigate after all. Righto, please. Do I look like a selfish man? Huh? Heck, if anyone asks me, sir, can I borrow $50? I'd give them $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate that room to your heart's content. Knock yourself out. It just goes to show, you never know until you ask. And for you here, you can borrow this. But, hey, this detective's ID card, isn't it? That's a special card for guests, so don't lose it. Yes, sir, it's an honor. You just run along and do your best now. Later, folks. Madre mía. Pues vamos a ir ahí. It looks pretty cool on my lapel. Doesn't it just think it's a real ID? You seem happy. Yes, sir, because, sir, we got blah, 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 blah. Venga, vamos al sitio. Ahora podemos entrar aquí. Es por aquí, ¿no? The evidence room is beyond that door. Boop. Let's just walk in. Boom! It won't open. Aha! The card reader is turned off, see? What is that security guard thinking? Howdy, partners. Well, well. What's made my bambina's sky so grey? Aquí aparece, ¿no? Ahora que tenemos la clave, aparece. Tócate los huevos. Vale, después de esto nos quedará bastante, pero bueno. Poco a poco. Poco a poco. What's that? Why does it have to be him? Look for? As you may have surmised, this here's my saloon. We're here to investigate the crime scene. Yeah, that card you got there on your chest. That's better than a sheriff's badge in these parts. Yeehaw? Well, what you standing there for? Get along, little doggies. The crime scene's awaiting. Beep. Looks like the card reader's on again. While we're here, I was wondering if we could ask you some questions. Sorry, cowboy, but I got no mind to tangle with your hombres. You are busy then? Did I say that? I only said I didn't wish to speak with you. Actually, you said you had no mind to tangle with us hombres. Guard station. I was wondering if we could talk to you. Sorry, Bambino, but I'm off to roam the lands like a thimbleweed on the white prairie. Like a gunslinger loading his 6-shooter, I say. A little prayer. ¿Qué coño? What's that all about, Mr. Wright? I think he was just too hungry to talk. You're just saying that because his stomach was growling. You have no idea what he was talking about either. In any case, we need to get cracking on this investigation. Pronto! I was wondering if we could talk to you. Sorry, Bambina. Que no. Ay. Que está hambriento, que soy tonto. ¡Presento! Food order! That smell, reminds me of Texas. So, Officer Marshall, you're from Texas? No, I just saw a special on television the other day. Is this from my baby? Yeah, Mrs. Starr. What's this? What? What's wrong? A fillet stick lunch. I see. I don't see. I wonder what it means. Tomatete. Alright, Bambina, you win. Ask. Smack. Finally, it seems like he's willing to talk. Alright, Bambina, you win. I will talk you from hombre to Bambina. Officer Marshall, you're in charge of security for the evidence room, right? You got good eyes, partner. It's an easy job and I'm grateful for it. Actually, Officer Meekings at the detention center told us. That poor little doggy. Poor guy, I keep getting his name wrong and calling him Mickley. He told us something. He said that when the stabbing occurred, you weren't at your station. Well, maybe I shouldn't be telling you this, but since I got demoted from detective 2 years ago, well, I might not look it, but I lost my fire for the job, you know? Oh, pobrecito. So what were you doing around 5:15 when the murder took place? Well, I reckon I was galloping down the highway on the back of my steed, Zippy. He was riding down on the horse named Zippy. There's no need for people here anyhow. These newfangled machines do a bang-up job of keeping an eye on the place, you know? You mean the security camera system? I don't talk to machines so much. Kinda like that stewed broccoli they sneak in the next to your stick, you know? A ver. Security system. If I know that maybe 2 of these machines in here do. Oh, only 2 of them? There must be a dozen. Like I said, Bambina, me and machines, well, I like them about as much as I like stewed cauliflower with my sticks. The easiest ones to understand are these here security cameras. Those are the ones that Officer Meekings mentioned. If nothing happened, the tapes are automatically erased every few hours. And Officer Meekings and the Goodman, are they on one of those tapes? I reckon they might be. You're the security guard and you reckon? One more thing. When you go into the evidence room, you need an ID card. Does the card reader by the door? The card reader leaves a record of every ID card that passes through. Un poco raro, ¿no? So this is the ID card record. Hey, I've seen that somewhere else before. I mean, I can show you more than that. Huh? I haven't heard whether this is related to the case yet. Mr. Wright, I just saw a number on that record. Just now, I've seen that number. Sí, coño, el mismo ID del pavo. Yo también lo he visto. She said you were a detective until 2 years ago. It was always my dream to be a rawhide wrangler on the scene of the crime. That's all gone now, like a drinking hole in a prairie fire. You're still investigating the SL9 incident with Mrs. Starr, aren't you? That was my case. It's all solved on the record books, but I smell like a bad game of poker. I can't let it go. That's all there is to it. What kind of case was it anyway? We've heard the name so many times, but no one tells us what actually happened. There are some things you're better off not knowing, Bambina. Anyway, That case is officially dead as of 2 days ago. 2 days ago? The day of our case. That's right. The evidence transferals. Edgeworth was talking about the transferals too. Sorry, but could you explain what this whole transferal thing is about? We keep only evidence from the solved cases in this room. They are kept here under President Detective supervision for 2 years, so we can reinvestigate them if it turns out there was a mistake, see? So, what happens to the evidence after 2 years? It goes to sleep forever in the underground vault at the County Sheriff Department. That's what we call transferal. We do it every February. I see now. Transferal is like a funeral for old cases. 2 years after a case is solved, it's closed forever, dead. Never to be reopened or never to be reinvestigated. That happened to SL9 2 days ago. See, this is the victim's ID card. Ah, the one that was on the ground in the parking lot. The number on this is... El número este. Marshall, show us that ID record again. Boom! Es que boom! Mira esto, mira esto. Look, the fourth number. It's a perfect match. It was used at 5:14, right before the stabbing. What's more, there's only one of them cards in the world. So when the incident occurred, Detective Goodman was in the evidence room. But wait, what did Officer Meeking say? So I entered the evidence room and asked the man to display his ID. So you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do? That's the thing, suddenly he pointed a knife at me. Qué peculiar. Why would he have pointed a knife at Officer Meekings? Alright, compadre, you win. Creo que este era el que está ahí dentro, en verdad. Haciendo pasar por el otro. Y mató, no sé. Este caso necesito más pruebas. I guess I can give you this ID card record. Gracias, buen hombre. I've got an idea. Maybe I should show this list to other people with IDs here. Vale. Pues vamos a la evidence room, ¿no? Que ya tardábamos. February 23rd, evidence room, sector 3. It's quiet. It's quiet. The investigation must be over here. So this is the evidence room. It really is kind of like a graveyard. Graveyards are supposed to have grass and trees. This feels more like a morgue. Nice try, Mr. Wright. You can't scare me. Pero bueno. Whoa. ¿Qué ha pasado? So sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I wouldn't recommend going around smacking ghosts on the head, pal. So, is it true what I heard? Right, please. Do I look like a selfish man? Heck, if anyone asks me, sir, can I borrow $50? I give them $50. So go ahead, investigate, knock yourself out. Yeah, it's true. So, Chief of Police Kent will loan anyone $50? Even me? Oh, so that you... Hostia tú. Yeah, I'm sure. Actually, I was put in charge of the investigation for today. Just for today? Boss for a day. But guess what? You got permission from the chief, so now you're boss for a day. Gee, thanks. First of all, you'll want to have this. The scene of the stabbing of the detective at PD. Okay. Vale, estos son los planos de esto de aquí. Comprendo. Camshaw, hablemos un poco. Boss for a day. So, Detective Camshaw, you're boss for the day. That's right, it's an honor. After all the murder took place right here, in the police department. But if you're a boss, why are you all alone? Where are your underlings? They're using yesterday's finding to prepare for tomorrow's trial. In other words, you got kicked out of the investigation again. I'm adamant though. Me sube el ataque y me baja el ataque especial. Madre mía, el humor. Solo los que saben de Pokémon de verdad entenderán la broma. I'm going to take control and put this case to rest. In my own evidence locker, pal. You have a locker in here too, Detective Ganshu? Of course, I'm a detective after all. They gave me a locker that only I can open, pal. Only you can open? I'll always believe in Mr. Edgeworth, no matter what happens. So, Mr. Edgeworth is with the inquiry committee right now? Right? They're trying to figure out who's responsible for the mess up in court today. I see. I guess this is what you call fate. Mr. Edgeworth just can't get away from that case. The case? Yeah, that case. The SL9 incident, of course. Madre mía, llevo 55 minutos grabando. Como si nada. Maybe we can get him to tell us more about the case. This place is more high-tech than you might think. Every locker is fixed so that only one detective can open it. Using their ID card? Well, that's the thing, pal. ID cards can be lost. Why, I'm on my third since entering the force already. That sounds like a lot. Yeah, but even I can't lose my own right hand. Right hand? Oh, you mean your fingerprint? Exactly, pal. The lock for each locker is coated with a fingerprint. So the only locker we can open is our own. Funny, they look like normal lockers. These are the latest model. There's a trick to the handles, see? The handles? On the other side of the handles is a sensor. If the wrong person touches it, you get shock. If that's what happened, my hand would be black and smoking every day. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. Only the assigned detectives prints can unlock it. Indicator lamps light up when it's open. Vale. Ay. Esto de aquí. Ahora tenemos que presentar la nota de este. Detective Goodman's note. And that switchman, I bet Edgeworth was the most surprised of anyone because of the SL9 connection. That was Edgeworth's first big case, 2 years ago. That was the first time the world knew Edgeworth was a man to be feared. But why would evidence from that case turn up now? I guess it's not over, pal. Maybe there are some loose ends left on that case. ¿Cómo qué? Now, that was a bloody violent case. Violent? So it was murder? A serial killing? A serial killing? Maybe I don't want to get involved in this after all. But the killer made a mistake and Mr. Edgeworth built his case around that to nab him. And this was 2 years ago? That put Mr. Edgeworth right in the spotlight and started the rumor mill. Rumors about forged evidence? It was supposed to be all cleaned up with the transferal the other day. It was the last job he ever did. Detective Goodman, that is. Huh? What do you mean? Goodman was the detective in charge of the SL9 incident, see? So that switchblade knife. The victim took the knife out of the evidence locker himself. Qué raro, ¿no? Kamshu, ¿qué te parece esto? Could you take a look at this? His ID card record of the people who came in here the other day of the stabbing. Oh, I heard the rumors, so it was Goodman who... What? What is it? That second number? Is not your ID card number, is it, Detective Kamshu? Mr. Edgeworth. What? The second number on this list belongs to Mr. Edgeworth. What? G. TT. Dime que no es verdad, ¿eh? Why would Edgeworth have come to the evidence room? Pero bueno. Vamos a ver qué hay por aquí. ¿Qué toca? Wow, someone must have broken something big to make all these pieces. That Kamshu, perhaps? There you go, pal. Making me out to be some kind of hooligan. That's apparently from the case. The case? SL9 incident, pal. See the sticker on one of the pieces there? Another piece of SL9. I wonder what shape these pieces were in before whatever it was, bro. You want to try to put it back together? Ah, good luck, pal. That's no job for amateurs. I spent a good 3 hours on that before I had to give up. I'll carry on a tip of glue. Well, this piece looks like the bottom. Let's try putting the rest in place. Ay, mi madre. Bueno, voy a resolver este puzzle tan complicado. Y en cuanto tenga la solución... ¿Es esto? ¡Madre! Soy un genio. Esto puede costar, de comprender el mapa conceptual a ratos. Este sí que era este de aquí. Shit. Plom. Plom. Y última. Venga, la última. Y falta una pieza. Huh? Well, I think we did it, but some of the pieces are missing. Yeah, I got that far in 2 minutes myself. The problem is finishing it. Were some pieces stolen? I bet they were missing to begin with. Still, it doesn't look like the most stable kind of jar. I kind of understand how it got broken. Jar pieced back together from the fragments found at the crime scene. A piece is missing. Vale, ¿qué más? A ver, por aquí. What is blood? It's a little worn, but definitely there's a handprint here. Looks like someone tried to wipe it off. ¿Cómo? Vamos a meterle el luminol este de los huevos. Venga, va, pum. Presento, luminol, pry. Ah, pero no es con presento, es en el Code Record. Por eso no me salía antes, puñetas. Ja. Examine. I knew it. This is someone's right hand print. What? What's the matter, detective? This locker, it's mine. It's yours, please. You have to help me. When they come to take me away, promise you'll testify that I wouldn't harm a fly. You'll do that for me, won't you, pals? This is an important clue. I'll jot it down on the floor plans. I'm counting on you guys. Believe me, you can't trust the police. What? But you're a detective. Madre mía. Pero bueno, ¿y esto? ¿Qué está pasando? That must have been one massive pool of blood. Never seen anything like it. What's your opinion, detective? Pale blue blood. Detective Goodman was actually... ¿Cómo? This proves that something really happened in front of this locker. I'll make a note of it on the floor plans. Hey, if you didn't want my opinion, you shouldn't have asked. Nice try, Tete. Someone left a glove here, but only one. Nothing I'm sure, maybe. There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of absent-minded detective. That's evidence from the case, you know. You mean an SL9? It does have a tag on it. Vale. What is a saw and paint doing here? Since the dawn of time, true art has always been a war against oppression. True art? I noticed that there is a blue and yellow paint here. Perhaps we're witnessing the birthplace of the Blue Badger? Well, you might say this is my studio. Here, in the evidence room? Madre mía. Y este que está... Look, this one's open and the red indicator light above the door is lit. That locker is coated with Detective Goodman's fingerprint. Este es el locker de Goodman. Are you sure it's okay to leave it open like that? Well, it's hard to get it open again if we closed it. It's empty. They must have taken contents elsewhere. Sí, no, deja... Vale, voy a ver si me falta algo. Y ya está. Ah, ahora sí, me cago en la madre que me parió, tío. I'm getting a reaction here. There's no reason for the murderer to touch this spot if he fled out the door. This just might be something significant. Hey, that's some pretty amazing stuff you got there, pal. What this? It's called luminol testing fluid. Where did you get your hands on that? Huh? I'd like to get some too. I'll just borrow 50 bucks from the chief. Where did you get this, Emma? I was buy it by mail order. Well, I better jot this down on the floor plans. Was it something you need to be going to? It's just that Mr. Edgeworth's inquiry committee should be letting out soon. You give them my report for the day. Might help you know. A report with the note writing on the back of that flyer. Now that says nothing but no problems. Hey, it's Mr. Edgeworth we're talking about. I'm sure he can use a report like this. I believe in him. Who needs enemies when you've got friends like Detective Camshaw? I'm up, pal. Sí, vale. Ahora podemos ir donde Edgeworth. Joder, tú, lo que me está costando avanzar. No tiene nombre. Vamos aquí y ahora donde Edgeworth. Vale. ¡Hombre! Oh, guest, my apologies. Oh, it's you. Have we met somewhere? Mr. Edgeworth, I beg your leave so long. Is Edgeworth here? There, standing by the window, a teacup in his hand. Right. He has the hotel bring him tea service? Mr. Edgeworth, you're back from the district prosecutor's office inquiry? I am. By the way, Detective Camshaw was looking for you. Oh yes, he brought me the latest information, it seems. Really? Was it helpful? Apparently. A new French restaurant is opening near here. I think he was trying to console me somehow. And the real info is on the other side, Edgeworth. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I think this whole thing is really taking a toll on him. Vale. Vamos a hablar. So, how did the inquiry committee go? Actually, they decided to treat this not as a case of concealing evidence, but as a communications error during the investigation. Concealing evidence? Yes, apparently there are some who believe that I concealed the evidence. They gave me a warning. You were lucky this time. Again. Again? I've heard them say that so many times. Ever since that case 2 years ago. Are you okay for the trial tomorrow? Well, I'm still the presiding prosecution attorney, however, something happened. They gave control of the investigation over to the police department. The police department? Yes, any further investigation for this case will be directed by the chief of police, Grant. I can do nothing but wait for his results. I see. Why, I ask you, why? All along I've done only what I believe is right. I have nothing to be ashamed of. But still, I've never seen him this out of sorts. Vale, ya le presentamos el ID record. Que nos diga, oye, Edgeworth, ¿has entrado en estos sitios o qué? Oh, right, I better check this now. As I was saying, What's this? Edgeworth, you went into the evidence room that day, didn't you? Just before the incident occurred, no less. Yes, that's true. Why, Mr. Edgeworth? Please don't look at me like that. I was asked to go. By Chief Gant, no less. Una trampa, una trampa. Es una trap. He wanted evidence for a case that wrapped up half a year ago. He told me he wanted to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. But it was solved, right? It would have to be if the evidence was already filed. The chief is never one to explain himself. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. Can I ask what kind of case it was? I can't say. It really has nothing to do with the current case. Now I'm curious about this other case. I better make a note of it. Evidence from past case of Edgeworth, brought back to his office by Gant's request. Stubborn as always, I told you this had nothing to do with the current case. Vale, y ahora vamos a enseñarle el switcher, por ejemplo. I know you've probably got a hold of some information already, right? It all has to do with that case you were on, the SL9 incident, and some dark suspicion you were wrapped up in. You are the man who revived the worst memory of my life. I figured I'd be telling you about this sooner or later. You must be talking about his father's murder in that elevator. Okay, Edgeworth. Why don't you tell me about it? Tell me the truth. The SL9 incident was a heinous serial killing case. The head of the investigation was the deputy chief of police at the time, Damon Gant. That wacky old coot was involved in the case 2 years ago too then. He was a top officer and it was my first time working with him. I was nervous. Wow, you get nervous too, Mr. Edgeworth? What I want to know is why I was a deputy chief of police on the investigation. In truth, I used slightly more extreme methods than normal. We were dealing with vicious murderer. If I let him go, the blood would be on my hands. We won our guilty verdict and the killer was executed. Wait, you didn't? Of course not. I didn't touch the evidence. Yes, I will do anything in my power to win a trial. However, I do have a code and I follow it faithfully. By the way, Emma, the chief prosecutor wanted to know something. Well, my sister? What? If you were still studying forensic science. Huh? Yes, of course. Well, just today Mr. Wright and I were using this. Luminal testing fluid, huh? Well then, you might have use for this. Aluminum powder for taking fingerprints? It's been chemically treated for better adhesion. For me, are you sure? We are the enemy, you know. I've no say in today's investigation, do as you will. Edgeworth, I'm really... no need to thank me. Here, take your powder and these fingerprint files for everyone involved. Thanks. How about giving this to Detective Ganshu as well? Muy bien, muy rico, rico, rico. Ya está. I do seem to remember seeing a suspicious handprint somewhere. Vale, pues vamos a ir. ¿Dónde el guardia otra vez? La evidence room. Hostia. Me dice la guía que si hago así... It's worth. What? It looks like some blood has dripped on there. Judging by the amount, I guess it's from a nosebleed. Nosebleed, hmm? Maybe in his wrath. Necessary to slap someone for their incompetence. Why does the Ganshu face come to mind? Vaya chorrada. Dale, move. Vamos al sitio. Y ya aquí vamos a terminarlo, ¿eh? Donde vamos es el final. The end. Investigation turned up a suspicious handprint. Here in this plot of detective evidence, let's use the secret weapon we just borrowed. Claro que sí, niña. Right, let's get started. First, choose a finger. A finger? Each finger leaves behind a slightly different imprint. Let's choose the finger that will have left behind the clearest print. I really can't tell the difference at a glance. Quite procrastinating. Choose a finger! Este de aquí. Okay, now it's time to check for the prints. Let me show you how it's done. I'm starting to get that sparkle in her eyes. First, we sprinkle the aluminum powder around. Huh? How do you do that? With enter. See? Enter! Like that, it's a trick. Aluminum powder adheres completely to the print. Once the powder is well spread, just blow away the excess. Huh? How do I do that? With E. Exciting, I know. Imagine you're blowing the candles on birthday, see? Looks like fine, it might take some getting used to. It's fine, it won't go up your nose or anything. You just pour the powder on thick and blow away the extra. Those are the bases of fingerprinting, Mr. Wright. Boom. You did it, you found one. But this looks nothing like a fingerprint. And you mention it, I guess it doesn't. What does it mean? I think it means we're out of luck. Out of luck? The person who left this handprint must have worn gloves. Don't tell me we've been wasting our time here. Hey, calm down. That's just the way it goes sometimes with scientific investigations. Joder. Ay. Well, really, why don't you look for other prints? Other prints? Look in the locker door again closely. ¿Esto? Like there are fingerprints outside the bloody handprint. Más o menos. ¡Madre mía! ¿No seré yo, Jesucito? ¡Pum! Yeah, print's so clear, it's dazzling. It's dazzling? Anyway, the print took a lot of effort to find. Let's match it up right away. The point fingerprint is and not knowing who the owner is, right? Guess she's right. At the point of one person using left these prints. How am I supposed to know who it was? I could make a pretty good guess. The bloody handprint and the fingerprints are in different places, right? That means that prints probably don't have anything to do with our case. So whom fingerprints would be most likely like? Gumshoe. Mira Gumshoe, mira este. Está clavado. No me jodas. Comparing. Oh shit. Oh mama. Match found. Ajá, so these prints belong to Detective Gumshoe. Bueno, este es un minijuego de encontrar el sitio. ¿Cuánto llevo grabando? 1 hora y media. Entera hora y media, tío. Vale, ¿qué me falta por examinar? A ver. Ah, ya sé. Vamos a utilizarlo aquí. Check for prints. Venga. Básicamente que le metemos el luminol. Pum. Ya lo hemos metido. Vale. ¿Qué pasa? Aquí. Te cagas, chaval. Bueno, bastante bien, ¿no? Bastante clean, ¿no? ¿Este de quién es? Bueno, parece que es del señor Marshall, ¿eh? No sé, parece ser, ¿eh? Tiene números. Comparison complete. Match found. Ya está. Decisive evidence. Whose are they? Whose? Is it someone I know? It's Officer Marshall. Huh? Oh, Officer Jake Marshall? Boom. That's got to be a coincidence. He's not involved in the crime. Emma, this is decidedly different from the Detective Gumshoe prints. The luminol reaction. The blood and the fingerprints are in the same place. Oh. So we have Jake Marshall's fingerprints on a white blood stain. But why would Officer Marshall? It looks like our investigation is finally turning up some results. I guess this is what you'd call decisive evidence. I don't believe it. No puede ser. Voy a hacer un descanso después de grabar esto porque llevo 2 horas y media grabando. O 2 horas y pico y esto ya no puede ser. Bueno, lo siento por un episodio tan largo como hoy, pero a veces las cosas salen así, tú. ¿Final day o qué? Day 3. Day 3. Esto va para largo. Cuidado que a lo mejor esta tarde no me lo paso ni de coña. Bueno, muchas gracias por ver el episodio. Espero que os haya gustado, que lo hayáis disfrutado. Y nos vemos en la próxima con más y mejor. Hasta la próxima. Adiós.